Hey everybody, welcome to Campus to Contracts. What's that? An unexpected injury. And here we go. Mason, unexpected injuries, what do agents do when it occurs? Because we all know it happens.
We hold our breath and we hope it's not significant, because I have already had my fair share of unexpected injuries, and it happens to always be in times where the player is not even on the team.
Not signed?
Well, sometimes they're signed, but they're not actually with the team, so the team can't even take care of the injury. A lot of times it's when the players are, getting ready for preseason or training camp with their new team, and I get that text or I get that call. Hey, Mace, so I sprained my ankle, or hey, Mace, I have a torn labrum in my shoulder, and so what do I do now?
So this is before they show up for the team. So the team is not going to take care of this then?
No. So if a player is injured while they're not in care of the team, like while they're not performing activities with the team, then the team is not liable for it. They're not liable for the player who's injured. Now, if that team understands that that player is injured and they take on that player, now they start administering aid and all that other good stuff.
So you would do the physical. When you would sign, they would find the problem, and then they have a decision to make. We either want this or we don't want this.
Well, in that case, if the player is really injured, like, they're not going to pass the physical. So if they don't pass the physical, then, it's up to the team. Hey, I can fail your physical, or I could choose to keep you, and now I got to start giving you treatment.
This is an interesting dilemma. So it's really based on how valuable is this player to your organization?
Yes, and really also how quickly does that organization think that player is going to heal, right? When it comes to injuries that require surgery, scary, right? You don't know how the player is going to come back. And it's not like they're saying, oh, you have a torn ligament in your knee, or you have a torn ligament in your shoulder or your ankle, something like that, right? Where they're worried about if there's going to be a recovery. They know the recovery, and they know that, it's been proven time and time again that a player can come back from an injury like that and be just as good, if not better, of a player. But then there's the mental aspect. There's the emotional aspect. There's the confidence aspect on, is that player going to come back ready to really play, ready to really prove themselves, show out, and come back bigger, faster, stronger, and as confident in their shoulder, their arm, their knee, their ankle as they were before?
So let me give you this scenario, one that's very popular in my brain as a fan. Miami's playing Ohio State in the championship a while ago. Willis McGahee gets his knee shredded up terribly by a tackle. He's playing for the university. He was going to be drafted, so now he's injured for a while. So the college is then responsible for his medical, obviously, at that point in time. And at what point does the college or university say, we've done everything we can? Obviously, they have to do a surgery. They have to do rehab. I would imagine all that is on the college, correct?
Yes.
So even though it's a bowl game, even though it's like the last game of his career, the university has to pick up all of that.
Correct.
Okay, so you're talking about the unexpected injury of, you're not on a college team, you're not on your pro team, you're working out in the preseason, or you're working out to get ready to go to the team, and the injury occurs.
Yeah.
Now he has to have the hard conversation with you of, this is what happened, truthfully or not, because let's face it, sometimes they're truthful, sometimes they're not. Mm-hmm. And then you have to then, what do you do with the information? Because obviously, as the agent, you have to then talk to the team that you've already talked to about bringing this player on.
Yeah. It leaves me in a very weird place, in cases where the player was going to be a high caliber draft pick, right? There have been cases where players have severely injured themselves during their pro day, right? And were still drafted. And then the NFL team took them on, treated them and still paid them. And then that next season, their sophomore season in the NFL, they were able to play. So there's things like that. Then there's situations, with all the spring leagues and Canadian League, NFL, and what have you, where there's some time, there's pockets within those leagues, the periods of when they start and end, where players are free agents, and they get injured while they're training on their own with their trainer back home. They're not attached to a team at that point. So, it's fully up to the discretion of the organization that they may have or may not have signed with already, if they want to take that player on and administer the treatment to that player.
So what does that do to your relationship with these GMs, these teams? Because as an agent, your relationship with those people is so important, not only for today, but also for tomorrow and the next day and the next players. So you now get to walk that fine line of, you have to look out for, as an agent, the player, but also as yourself and the relationships you've built over the years.
Absolutely. And you couldn't put it more better than that. Like, I do have a relationship with these GMs, these decision makers at these organizations. But as far as my relationship and how it's affected when one of these injuries does occur, I can't really tell you how they feel about me. I am the agent that will tell them as soon as I find out from the player and let them know, hey, I just got this bad news. Like, what do you want me to do? I try to mitigate it as much as I can. I talk to the player and see what he's been doing and see if we can, fix it or, get it manageable before they go up to their camp date. But as far as the relationship, I try to just be as honest and candid as I can with these GMs and just let them know up front. I feel like it would hinder my relationship if I had a player that I knew was severely injured and waited for that player to get up to camp, and then they find out on the spot that he's injured when he doesn't pass a physical. So, I mean, I don't know how other agents feel about that. That's just my personal preference, just to be straightforward and upfront about it.
Do you talk to your players about how to communicate this with yourself? Is there a format of like what your expectation is of them to you? Because again, you can only relay information that you have.
We're
talking about unexpected injuries, and what happens when, like, I didn't know my player was like this.
Yeah,
and now you have to have that conversation.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever been told immediately when one of my players have been injured, unless I saw it in a game and realized, oh, that's my player. Like, he got hurt. That's why they're unexpected. They're unexpected because I didn't know about it at the time that it occurred. I may have found out about it because they had to tell me, like, hey, I have this injury report on myself that's due for this team that I got to turn in. What do I say? Like, if I'm hurt? Oh, you're hurt? Yeah, I have this issue. Or a GM actually has called me and saying, what's going on with your player? Why does he have this injury? Like, and I'm like, well, I didn't know he had one still or does. So sometimes it's a really bad look because it's like, I don't actually have an answer to their statement or information that they're giving me. And I can't have an actual professional dialogue with them about it. Fortunately enough, I've been able to rectify a lot of situations, some in weird ways, some in, somewhat standardized ways. So, it's definitely unexpected. It's not a good time. You feel bad because you want to do right by that organization because they're bringing your player in and they're giving them an opportunity to showcase their skills. But at the end of the day, I have to protect my players first. I have to do what's best for them, and I want them to have a long, healthy, and prosperous career. So whatever moves I need to make in order to make that happen, I will.
Do you also think that as a player, you're hoping or you're counting on being recovered for the time you have to check into the team? So the last thing you want to do is lose out on this opportunity because, again, it's really easy as an agent to be like, hey, you got to tell me right away. But as a player who doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and now you have an opportunity, something happens, you're like, I can recover, I can get back, and I'll be myself again. So you're trying really hard to do that, only to find out you can't. So then you have to have that awkward conversation with your agent because they worked really hard to get you where you wanted to be. You worked really hard, and this ended up happening.
Yeah, so, with me being an agent of so many players in so many different places, I have to keep track of their calendars or of the league's calendars, and I got to keep track of which players are playing in those leagues so that I can give them a call and ask them before they go out, hey, are you healthy? Are you good to go? Have you packed? Do you have your passport? The passport issue has been a major issue this year for me. So I know we're talking about injuries, but that's also something that comes up very unexpected. And, I try to talk to these players about what's ever going on, and I got to make sure that they're healthy and that they have their passport. Those two things are paramount. Everything else, I can kind of fix eventually, but those two things, those need to be good and in check.
And just so everyone knows, passport is an unexpected. You have to know you need that to move around. So the injury is unexpected. It's a surprise probably to you when they're like, "Wait, I need that? I'm just going up to Canada. I'm just going over to Europe. Aren't we all good?"
Or I can't find my passport. I have one, but I just don't know where it is.
I remember those college days when I was turning assignments or not turning an assignment because I couldn't find it.
Right.
Oh, the joys
My
of being
dog
young.
ate my homework.
My dog ate my passport.
Man.
So what would you give advice to a young player who's really trying to impress not only their agent, but the team, and then something were to occur? Is it better to talk sooner than later to your agent to let them know what's going on, to let them know what you're trying to do, how you can try to recover? Because I'm sure some injuries you just can't.
Here's the thing. Every player should tell their agent everything. Whatever is going on, tell your agent immediately. He or she is not going to go to that organization and just rat on you about it. They need to know because they need to know, and they need to guide you and help you and understand some things. I know trainers in cities that could help you, or doctors in cities that can help you to get the treatment that you need. You might think that going home every day and icing is going to be good enough, but I know somebody who has STEM machines and Game Readies and Normatec and actual machines that are going to help that process go way faster and help you have a better chance of recovering in a quick manner. So tell your agent everything immediately. Now, when it comes to talking to the team about that, injuries happen all the time, whether it's weightlifting or running or whatever. So sometimes you might have to tell the team in situations where it's an injury, a bad injury, a serious injury. Sometimes, hey, I just need to lay off for a couple weeks. I probably won't be in conditioning that often or lifting as hard because such and such is bothering me. So in those cases, you probably don't have to tell the team because, you'll be fine. You expect to be fine. As long as you're acting in good faith, you'll be okay.
Work with your agent. It's why you have an agent. It's why your agent works so hard to get you where you want to be. They don't do it for themselves. They don't do it for their glory. They are working on your behalf. If you actually continue that relationship with your agent, they may actually help you even more. That's what you're saying.
Most definitely.
Well, that's unexpected injuries that shouldn't be unexpected to your agent. So keep the lines of communication open. He isn't in your house. He doesn't know what's going on. He isn't Santa Claus. You may actually have to call him and tell him what's up. I'm your host, Brendan, with Campus to Contracts. Thanks for sticking with us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And Mason, I can't thank you enough. I can't even imagine the emotion you must feel getting those calls, and all the scrambling that you do. Appreciate all the hard work you do and for taking some time with us again today.
Thank you.